Hello and welcome to a sort of vlog slash unpack with me. It is absolutely freezing in London today. It is February the 22nd and I've been back from my holiday about 3 weeks, is it? We came back, yes, almost exactly 3 weeks. And we came back on, I think we arrived back on the 1st actually. And some kind viewer suggested I do a video on what I took that I used and needed and what I didn't use, but I took anyway. No, that's really bad. You know what I mean? Anyway, I thought it was a really clever suggestion because I certainly did take stuff that I needed, but I also took stuff that I didn't need. And stay till the end when I reveal my top 3 products that I couldn't be without on holiday. Before we get into that, let me just tell you about the holiday that I'm talking about, because this might be relevant to you if you are travelling to a hot climate, because we are talking about going to the Caribbean here. So we went for 2 weeks to 2 separate islands. We went to St. Lucia first, and then we went to Bequia, which is in the Grenadines, or St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to give it its full title. Now, as I talk, I'm going to put up some images of the trip. And the first week we were in St. Lucia, and it was quite a long drive on quite treacherous roads, actually, from the airport to the resort. And once we were at the resort, we actually stayed put. We didn't go anywhere because of the roads. We just didn't fancy getting in a car and trying to navigate or be navigated by someone to drive on those roads, because they're full of potholes. They're really quite dangerous. And also we were just exhausted and we just wanted a lull, really. So the first resort was called East Winds, and it's a lovely hotel. It's kind of a bit like staying in somebody's large country house, except that everybody's got their own little cottage, as it were. So you've got a nice terrace which faces the gardens. I think you can get sea view terraces, but we didn't have one. So we had a terrace that faced the garden. We then had a lovely big and airy bedroom. And then we had a shower room at the back, and the shower was open to the elements. It was absolutely fantastic, actually. It was really lovely. It was really nicely furnished. It was very comfortable. There was aircon, but we don't really like aircon, except maybe before you go to bed. We don't like it on at night, but they had a fan. So we had the fan on most of the time, and it was very quiet, which was great. But I suppose that's why they do all in a lot of these places, because then you just don't have to think about it. You've paid up front. You know what you're getting, and that's fine. So the East Winds, as I say, very kind of, I was going to say homely. I don't mean homely at all, but not super luxurious, but I like that. It was kind of relaxing. But the food was, and the drink actually, were really excellent, and just really lovely staff, very, very friendly. The only thing I would say was the demographic of the guests was of a particular type. There were hardly any young people at all, I suppose because it's very quiet, but there was definitely a demographic, and I would categorise it in the nicest possible way, saying it was Godalming-on-Sea. Now, those of you who live in the UK will know, or perhaps have heard of Godalming, even if you've never been there. To be honest, I've never been there, so it's probably a bit mean. And do let me know if you're watching this and you're from Godalming, and have a go at me if I'm being completely mean about the place. But I'm not going to categorise it any further. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. But they were very nice people. Everybody was nice. There was a library there, and one of the really lovely people, there weren't many Americans actually, I think they might have been the only couple who were American, and the woman, Linda, recommended a book to me, which I then subsequently read, because the books that I brought, which I did talk about in my previous packing video, I didn't like. I read a few pages and I thought, they're not for me, they were really for millennials, I think. But I did enjoy the book that she'd suggested. I think I may have talked about that in my newsletter, but if I haven't, I will mention it in my next newsletter. If you want to subscribe to that, the link is in the description box below. Anyway, so we had a lovely week there, and then we had to go back on that road for another hour and a half, and then we had to get on a little plane. Now, my husband and I are not very keen on little planes. I haven't been on one for quite a while, and I'm not sure he'd been on one at all. I don't know. But anyway, it's a little tiny plane, and the pilot actually has to walk through to get to the cockpit past the passengers. There were about 8 of us or something. No, 6 of us, that's right, plus the pilot. Anyway, it was fine. It was 20 minutes, but it is a bit sort of raw like this. And as he was landing on the landing strip in the Grenadines, he has to sort of do a swerve and then come down like this. And it was all a bit raw. Anyway, we landed safely. It was all fine. And not much of a ride to the hotel, maybe about 15 minutes. Again, the roads are horrendous in my view. There's no way I would drive on those roads. This hotel, we were all in there as well, but it was quite different. It was much more luxurious. The furniture and some of the artwork were absolutely beautiful. And in fact, we met the owner on the day we left. He's a Swedish elderly, not elderly, that's mean. He's probably not much older than me, probably the same age. Anyway, an older man, a senior man who owns the hotel, and his family seem to work with him, I think. And he's obviously really into his antiques, especially Art Deco. He had some beautiful furniture. Again, the staff were absolutely delightful. And again, we had a nice big wide room and a smaller bathroom, but still really nice, with Elemis toiletries, which my husband sort of fell in love with. I must say, I rather like them as well, even though they're fragrant. So it was pretty luxurious. Interestingly, the food was nice, but it was a little bit more hotel-y, if you know what I mean. So there were things like chicken Caesar salad, which was lovely and really well cooked and everything, but not quite as kind of gourmet and interesting as the food at the East Winds, but still very, very nice. More of a mixed demographic, actually. It was a mixed demographic because there were some young people as well. But I mean, let's face it, it's very far away from any sort of real nightlife or anything like that. So you're not going to get a very young crowd, are you? So the entertainment was fine. It's not super important to us. We would start the evening with a cocktail, which of course was all included, or maybe two, and then we would go down to dinner, and then we'd wander back to our room and go to sleep. Now, I spent a lot of time sleeping on this holiday, whether I was sleeping in the room or sleeping on the lounger under a parasol, of course. And it was just such a relaxing holiday. I absolutely loved it. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video, which is about what I took and what I used and what I didn't use. Before I tell you what was in the suitcases, let me just tell you what I took in terms of suitcases. So, this great big thing is actually not that big. It's not as big as some of the suitcases I've taken before. It was amazingly inexpensive. In fact, it was one of those things where I looked on Amazon, and I mean, I love Amazon, but I looked on Amazon and they had it for, I think, £45. And then I looked at the brand, and it's called Trip with a double P. And I looked on the brand on the brand's website itself and got it for £35, I think, because they were having a sale. And it's been really good. I've never had one of those hard suitcases before. And it was absolutely great. It's got that extra zip if you want to make it bigger. But that's what it looks like inside. It's not too heavy. And it's got the strap. And it's got a lock. I'm rubbish, actually. I never lock anything because I always think I'm going to forget the code or whatever. And then I also took this little one, which I've had for ages. I took this as my carry-on. I've not usually taken a carry-on on wheels, but I did find it very helpful. Now, when I was packing, I wasn't sure whether I was going to use the cubes that I bought. But when I started to pack, I found that they actually seemed to be quite bulky. I bought this set on Amazon, and it was useful in that I did use one of the cubes for the carry-on, because I was able to then put in the things that I wanted to take out and keep with me. Because what we'd had to do is pack for staying overnight in a hotel before we flew. I needed to take a few toiletries that I could then take on board with me in the plane rather than in the hold. So there was a little added complication. And it was quite useful to have this little cube and also one of their clear plastic bags, which I could put my 100ml products in. And then I did use one of the other cubes to put my underwear in, because that's always useful rather than having to tuck it around the side. But actually I didn't use all the cubes. Now let me tell you about all the products that I took before I go on to the clothes, and those that I did use and those that I didn't use. I'm not going to spend hours doing this, I promise you, but I'm just going to tell you what I did find useful to take and what I could have done without. So for SPFs I took 3. I took my Ultrasun, which I've now finished. I took my Eucerin, and I took my Paula's Choice, and actually I could have done with just 2, I think, but I wasn't quite sure how much I had in all of them, in all the containers, so I thought it was better to take 3, but probably could have done with 2. I also took my Urea Repair Cream by Eucerin, which I've been using for quite a while, which I wore underneath my SPF. And then what I took but didn't actually use was my vitamin C. Now that's partly because I was still in the skin barrier repair mode, and I wasn't really sure how irritating the vitamin C might be, and I thought I'm just going to keep it simple. I shouldn't have bothered taking it. So really I just did perfectly well with the moisturiser and the SPF on the top, and that was absolutely fine. In terms of cleansers, I just took the Paula's Choice Omega Complex Cleansing Bar, and that was great. I didn't need any extra cleansing. If I wanted to double cleanse, I used this, but to be honest, I didn't double cleanse really because I wasn't wearing that much makeup, which we're going to come to in a minute. I also took this Ameliorate, which is a great body lotion, and I absolutely love it, and it came in very handy. Although I do have to tell you that I didn't do any sunbathing as such. I probably sat out in the sun for about 10 minutes a day. So you can see my face isn't very brown at all. My skin is a bit brown. You can see there's a definite contrast between my face and my arms. And actually, if you could see my feet, which I'm not going to show you, but if you could see my feet, I'll see if I can insert a picture of them. They are quite brown, but I didn't put them in the sun on purpose, really, because that's not really something we should be doing at our age if we want to keep our skin as youthful as it can be, and also it's just not safe in terms of skin cancer either, or getting these lovely little lesions, which are not the most attractive, are they? And they are sun damaged lesions, so it's probably best to stay out of the sun if we can. And finally, in terms of skin care or hair care in this instance, I did take my ordinary body and hair wash and conditioner, but actually, like I said at the top, I ended up using the Elemis products in our second week. These are good though, because you can use the shampoo as a body wash. Now you may be wondering why this is upside down. It's one of those bottles where the conditioner just will not come out of the bottle unless you leave it upside down. You can spend hours shaking the blooming thing. It's like trying to get ketchup out. It's hopeless. So I tend to keep it upside down. Oh, and finally on skincare, I also took my Nearer, in fact. I think I may have said this in my previous video when I was packing. I took the instructions just in case I got stopped by customs and they went, what is that? Some kind of torture instrument or something? But nobody asked about it, so it was absolutely fine. Now we'll do a quick canter through makeup, and I took 3 skin tints and that was it. I took the Saie skin tint, and I will review this at some point. I haven't got around to it yet. I took the Hourglass tinted veil, which I have talked about before on this channel. I also took, which I absolutely love, the so-called tinted moisturiser by Wet n Wild. I don't think it really is a tinted moisturiser. It's more like a foundation. I love it, but it was a bit too heavy. I really didn't need it in the sun. The temperature in the Caribbean is about 28 centigrade every day. It's very humid. It rains every day, but only for short periods. And you just don't feel like, or I didn't feel like wearing any heavy makeup. So I kept it to a bare minimum, and skin tints were definitely the way forward. Oh, I forgot to mention the other moisturiser I took was the Purito Centella Recovery Cream, which I've now run out of, and I must get some more. It's absolutely great. I love it. Now, I went completely overboard with the rest of my makeup. It was ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking. Before I tell you how ridiculous I was, I suppose what I was thinking of was I didn't want to take any brushes with me. And interestingly, when I was watching Michelle Wong talking about what she was going to take with her, I think to Finland and Iceland, she didn't take any brushes either. So it just seemed a bit of a faff. So I didn't really want to do that. So what I did was I took the Bye Bye Undereye concealer, which I hadn't really been using, but one of my lovely subscribers said she used it as a sort of foundation. So I thought, well, I'm going to take it with me because I need to get some wear out of it. And actually it was ideal. It was perfect because you could put it on the back of your hand and smooth it out a bit and get it to be a little bit more pliable and less kind of sticky and heavy, and then apply it under your eyes if you wanted to. And of course, the weather's so humid there, it was just perfect for it. And then just put some powder over the top. So actually, this was a real winner for the weather. I'm not saying it would be perfect for everyone, but because I had it anyway, I thought it would be good to try it. And it really did help. So I think it's a good holiday concealer, which you might even be able to use as a foundation. I really need to try that at some point. So that was good. And then I went overboard on the bronzers. I wanted to take this opportunity to use this massive bronzer I got in France in 2022. It's the Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer. If I could just open it and show you, it's absolutely massive. I mean, look at it. It's massive. It's quite a good colour. I quite like it. But for some ridiculous reason, I took this, and I also took the Revolution, which again I've had for a couple of years, which is a lovely bronzer, a lovely cream bronzer. But I didn't need two, did I? I mean, honestly, how much bronzer was I going to use in 2 weeks in the Caribbean? Not very much is the answer. I then carried on in my overboard sort of way. I took 3 Merit eyeshadows. I mean, I have to say, I'm not completely convinced by the Merit eyeshadows. I love Merit as a brand, but I'm not sure that I reach for these. Well, in fact, I know I don't reach for these very often. I certainly didn't reach for them on holiday. Nor did I reach for I took about 5 of the Lisa Eldridge liquid Lurex again. I suppose my thinking was that I would have time to experiment and fiddle around. I honestly didn't feel like it at all. I just wanted to sleep, breed and loll and eat and drink, and that was it. So I took far too many liquid Lurexes. But I'll tell you what I did wear almost every night, which was a bit of a revelation for me. And Maggie, if you're watching this, my darling friend Maggie D, can't read the name of it. It's the e.l.f. eyeshadow stick. Ooh. It's a nice brown. I'll just show you. Look at that. Gorgeous brown. This was absolutely ideal. Instead of taking eyeshadow, it was a nice way to sort of rim my eyes. And then you can smudge it out a bit if you want. I mean, you know, I wasn't really wearing a lot of makeup anyway, and it's not like you had to get dressed up, like I say, but I like to do something with my eyes just to make them pop a bit. So this was absolutely ideal. And then in terms of mascara, again, I took far too many. 1 would have done, but I suppose because I was trying them. I was trying the Benefit Roller Lash, and I was trying the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, neither of which I found particularly good. The Sky High, it's funny, I don't know whether this is the later edition of the Sky High by Maybelline. I wasn't as keen on this as I used to be either. I don't know, maybe I was just being a bit fussy. But yes, I didn't have a huge amount of success with mascara, but again, did it really matter on holiday? Not terribly. Then in terms of blush, the Merit Cheeky Balm was absolutely ideal. A gorgeous, gorgeous colour. Really love that. And of course, very easy to apply. And you can put it on your lips if you want to as well, although I didn't do that. And then I just used a beauty sponge to shear everything out. I was going to say smear. I don't mean smear. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. Anyway, shear things out with a damp beauty sponge. So that was all fine. Oh, and the eyebrows, I forgot about that. One of my new favourites is the Wet n Wild retractable eyebrow pencil. Really excellent. And so I had taken this. Oh yes, I forgot to mention I also took a few Lisa Eldridge lipsticks with me. I mean, again, much as I love Lisa, did I really want to wear Lisa Eldridge lipsticks on holiday? No. The only lipsticks I actually used were my 2 Merits. So the Merit actual lipstick in Baby and the lip oil in Mapleton, and they were great because they're nice and sheer and light, and that was plenty really. That's all I needed. So we've talked about makeup, so I would definitely be cutting down on the makeup I take next time. And just before we leave beauty, I did take this really fab towel. It's one of those Amazon purchases. It's a kind of microfiber towel, which I did find really useful, and I preferred using this to the hotel towels because it does seem to suck the moisture out of your hair more quickly. And also, as I tended to do, we'd come back from the beach or wherever we'd been, we'd go and have a shower, and then I'd lie on the bed and probably fall asleep. And I'd put this on before I got on top of the bed, and then I'd put a towel on the pillow, and then I'd put this on and then lie down and have my usual afternoon nap. Now let's talk about clothes. Now I'm just going to do a quick shout out to Birkenstocks because I took 2 pairs of Birkenstocks, which is all I lived in really. And these black ones, I actually got wet many, many times, and they still look as good as new, or nearly as good as new. Okay, maybe the footbed's not so gorgeous. They got wet many, many times, particularly when it was raining, and also when I put my feet in wet after I'd been walking in the water or close to the beach. They really were fantastic, good, reliable workhorse sandals. Absolutely loved them. Now the bikini that I took, I absolutely loved and wore it to death. I wore it every single day. I absolutely loved wearing it. It was comfortable. The bottoms were big enough so there wasn't too much spillage over the top, so to speak, nor was there any spillage up here. I just felt really lovely wearing it, and it was just so nice to have warmth on my tum rather than having it covered up by a swimsuit. Although I did wear swimsuits as well, but actually the bikini was my default outfit for the beach really, and I absolutely loved wearing it. Now, as I say, it was about 28 degrees centigrade every single day, which I can't remember what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot. And I took 2 very light cotton jumpers and I didn't wear them at all, not one single day. Nor did I wear this waterproof jacket, because my husband and I talked about whether we needed waterproof jackets. We thought maybe if we went on a boat or something. So we both took them and I didn't wear mine at all. I think he did wear his on the boat, but I didn't wear mine. Of course, my cap from Arquette was invaluable and I wore it every single day to protect my face from the sun, as well as wearing my expressive cherry sunglasses. And I also did take my Urea Dreamwave Ultra. But my hair was really looking a bit grot, so there was a lot of putting it up, and just occasionally I used this to sort of enhance it, but I didn't take any other styling tools. I didn't take any straighteners or anything like that because I didn't want to bother with that really. So this was helpful, but I could have probably lived without it because it's a sort of holiday where I just wanted to go au naturel really. And one final item of clothing to mention, which was really helpful, were the footwear. It was these rubber swim shoes, because there were sea urchins in St. Lucia, so we did have to be a bit careful where we swam to make sure that if I did inadvertently tread on a sea urchin, that I'd be okay. I don't know how protective these are. In fact, I forgot to mention we did go snorkeling in Mustique because we had a day trip from the Grenadines to Mustique, which is the island made famous by Princess Margaret. And we saw a couple of baby turtles. Oh, it was so lovely. The snorkeling isn't great there, but it was okay. And I also saw a lionfish. Right, so I promised you I would tell you the 5 products that I found invaluable on this holiday, and they are, firstly, a mirror. Now, I mentioned that I was going to take this mirror in my previous packing video, although I think because I'm used to using, I've got a very strange setup where I've got 2 mirrors on my dressing table. I've got both of them are magnifying on one side and regular on the other, and I tend to have one that I use for sort of distance and one I use for close up. So I have one that's on the magnifying side and one that's on the regular side. And that may have something to do with my eyes as well, because this is my distance eye. Is that right? Yes, this is my distance eye and this is my reading eye. So I don't know whether that confused me slightly with this, because I didn't find it quite as easy as I thought I would to use. But basically it's a mirror, a regular mirror, and then it has the magnifier, which is magnetic, and you just stick it on there. You turn it on. You've got a light, and this is the key thing. I don't know whether you've noticed this, but in hotels, I'm sure you have, they're so dark. They're obviously trying to be very economical with the power. And so it means that you're kind of peering about, especially if you're an older person and your eyesight's not great. So I did find it helpful to have this little mirror, and it was relatively light. I bought it on Amazon. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was about 20 something pounds. Now, the next product I found invaluable was this toothbrush. Now, this is a travel electric toothbrush, and it's so much better and stronger than those sort of flimsy electric toothbrushes you buy at the last minute because you've forgotten at the airport. This is a really nifty little one. It's actually got an extra head as well. It comes in the little case. Turn it on. It's really quite nice and buzzy. And I found that invaluable as well. Really easy to carry. Really good little toothbrush. And by the way, all the products that I talk about in the video will be listed and linked below. And the final products that I honestly found invaluable were these little stain removers. Now, I mentioned them in my packing video, and I said that my lovely friend Tina from Tina's Best Midlife had recommended them, and she was absolutely spot on. I don't know if it was these particular ones she recommended, but these are the Stain Devils by Dr. Beckman. And I took with me the Nature and Cosmetics Stain Remover and the Fat and Sauces one, and I used them both, and they were absolutely brilliant. They really worked, because both my husband and I got stains on our clothes, as we always do, and I managed to wash them out. So I was so grateful to have them, because, you know, if you send them to the laundry, A, they cost a bomb, and B, they're not guaranteed to get out the stains, are they? So they were incredibly useful. So there we have it. That is my Unpack With Me video, and a little bit of a vlog as well. So let me know in the comments, are these the sort of things you take with you on holiday or don't use when you go on holiday? Let me know. It's been really fun making this, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, I'd be really grateful if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know each time I upload a video. I am going to, after my little break, try to upload a video twice a week, although don't hold me to that because I still have a full-time job, but I'm going to do my best. And also, if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter that I mentioned earlier, then the link to do that is in the description box below. And I'll pop up another couple of videos in case you're interested in watching a couple more. And thank you so much for watching and commenting. Your comments mean such a lot to me because sometimes I think, is anybody watching this video? Does anyone really care what I've got to say? And then when I read a lovely comment, I just think, oh, thank you so much. It really means a huge amount to me. And I hope you're all doing really well. And I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.